G'day and welcome to the regular Motley Fool YouTube series we call What I've Been Reading. Now, it's never what I've actually been reading, but I just get to call it that. I get to talk to our very smart, very thoughtful, very interesting and erudite Motley Fool investment team members every single week, and we publish it here for you on YouTube. So while I'm here, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Halfway through this video, you're going to realize you love it. Please hit the like button for me, because that is good for me, it's good for our egos, it's good for other people to find these videos. Also, if you're here watching this, you probably want more from us. I hope you do. In that case, the subscribe button is just below me here, and the notification bell, somewhere there, which means that you will be told when we release more great content. What great content? More What I've Been Reading videos every week. Stocks in Focus every week. Stock of the Month once a month. Motley Fool TV. Lots of good stuff on the YouTube channel, and the best way to find it and keep abreast of it is to do those things: like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Now, I mentioned some smart, erudite, thoughtful Motley Fool team members. They don't come any bigger or better than this man, the Director of Research here at the Motley Fool, Ryan Newman. Rhino, g'day.
Stop it. No, keep going.
Well, in that case, let me tell you about that.
Great to be here, Scott. Thanks for having me.
You sent me the check. I was supposed to say nice things. Isn't that how this works?
That is, yeah. You've done a great job.
Excellent. Okay, good. I've earned my money. Mate, I'm clearly, by the way, completely kidding about that, but also very serious about the rest of it. We are very lucky to work with some great people, including Ryan. Mate, we're going to talk about a book you've been reading recently. I've said in previous videos, mate, I will give you another rap, by the way. A lot of people read investment books and business books. I've got heaps behind me on the shelf, by the way. They're great. But sometimes, maybe more than sometimes, thinking about other ways to draw parallels, lessons, insights into investing comes from well and truly outside the very, very narrow discipline of investing. In fact, at the Motley Fool, it's one of the things we do probably better than, I say better than most. I don't mean we're better than most, although I hope we are. But I think what we do better than most is taking interdisciplinary lessons and thoughts. We're not your usual pointy heads. Yes, we've got qualifications. Ryan's a CFA charter holder, by the way. So he's done the work. But it is that broader, I think, approach to investing. We try and model ourselves after the likes of Charlie Munger, who hopefully you know a little bit about. Mate, that's enough. That's enough blowing smoke your way. Tell us about Shook by Jennifer Hull.
Yeah, Scott, it's a non-fiction book. It follows legendary mountain guide David Hahn, or Dave Hahn. And it's following him in the year 2015, which is a year after the deadly avalanche hit the Khumbu icefall on Everest. So pretty drastic times. Unfortunately, 2015 was no better. In fact, it was probably worse. There was a massive earthquake that shook Nepal and the surrounding regions, and it led to a lot of loss of life. It was a real tragedy. The book really details, I suppose, that climb led by Dave Hahn, but basically followed their climb up, but also I suppose what turned into almost like a struggle for survival, right? Because of what was happening. Look, Scott, there's so many, I guess, parallels, which you just spoke about. You mentioned the word parallels to investing. There's so many parallels that I could draw on, even though the book is about mountaineering and an avalanche. But I suppose the one that I really want to focus on is our why. And the reason that I want to talk about that is probably not quite so obvious, or it's not quite as straightforward as what it might seem in my head. But Scott, the reason I want to talk about this is that it actually comes on the tail of an article on the website that you released this week, which spoke about a pretty tragic circumstance that your own family is facing this week as well. And I won't get into that. That's your news to share if you want to share it on this medium. But I suppose what I did want to talk about was, again, our why, our purpose. One of the things that really stood out to me when I was reading this book was, I suppose, the experience of the Sherpas. We know that the Sherpas are the people who, mountaineers and climbers really rely on to actually make their journey possible, to make it to the top of the hill. They lug a lot of the luggage, the food, everything to make it necessary to actually be able to get to the top. What a lot of people don't realize is that Sherpas, a lot of them don't actually necessarily like what they're doing. Yeah, some of them enjoy climbing, and a lot of them enjoy being around the area that they grew up in, around the area of family, but a lot of them do it simply because of the money that is available to them for doing so. Scott, I looked this up beforehand. The average annual income for a Nepalese person is about it's about $1,400 to $1,500 per year. Let's call that about 2,000 Australian dollars per year. an Everest Sherpa can actually earn about 4 times that amount in the space of 3 months. So a lot of the Sherpas are doing it simply because they feel they have to be able to provide for their families, to be able to give their children an opportunity to not have to do what they're doing when they're older, maybe to go to a nearby university to study medicine or to study law or something else to actually save them from that life. Scott, you mentioned Charlie Munger in the introduction. I don't think it was actually Charlie Munger that said this. I think it was Warren Buffett, his close friend. He was talking about the ovarian lottery and how, that's basically being born in the right place, the right time, the right circumstances. And Scott, I guess when I was reading through this book, Shook by Jennifer Hull, it just made me remember, the purpose and the why and how lucky we are to live here in Australia and to have, some of the things that we do have in our lives, right? Family, wealth, a good job, in most cases, a safe job that, virtually guarantees us that we'll be able to get home safely to our family at the end of every day. And, these Sherpas don't have that, but it's something that I really, it really stood out to me from reading that book, because there are a lot of dangerous situations. And, you mentioned in your article on the website, Scott, you want to work to live, not live to work. And some people do have to live to work, but we don't. And I suppose, that really brings me back to as well the service that I run. One of them is called North Star. And that's really recognizing that each of us has our own purpose, our own why for investing. Mine is to build towards a better future for my family, to be able to provide for them when they're older, to provide for my 3 kids, my wife, hopefully achieve some financial freedom as well so that I don't have to work all of my life, compared to what some of these Sherpas have to do. I know we're sort of drawing on a few tangents there, but as I said, there's so many different parallels that I could have drawn from reading that book, whether that be risk assessment versus risk appetite, the role of experienced guides, which, we try to play here at the Motley Fool for ordinary investors. But as I mentioned, the why, the purpose is one of the things that really stood out to me from reading the book.
That's great, mate. I love the thoughtfulness there. By the way, I will share, just so I don't want to keep people in suspense. Our dog Abby died this week, and I wrote an article about it, put it on the website. We'll link it down below in the description. Excuse me. And I talked about exactly as you mentioned, mate, the purpose of what we're doing. It's the old line about no one on their deathbed wishes they'd spent more time in the office. And it's kind of made the point that even as investors, no one on their deathbed will wish they had more money, but fewer friends and fewer experiences. And so that idea of just the why, I think the why is really important, man. And what I like about the why is thinking about not only the why we do it, but part of I call it the destination. It's not really the destination, but the checkpoint, the milestones, right? So the why we invest goes to a point. That governs how much we work, how much we save, how we invest, hopefully the effort we put into investing. But there is a point at which you've got enough, or you're on the track to having enough, and you can make some different life choices. And I suppose, I don't regret anything with Abby. We had a great life with her. But when you lose someone close to you, or in this case, a dog close to you, you kind of sit back and go, what does really matter? We were really lucky. We had all our family around at the time. It was obviously really tragically sad, and it was a tough few hours, but still tough now. But the idea of kind of like that's the stuff that actually matters, right? Yes, I want to work to live, at least in terms of be able to afford to live, but I'm not living to work. I'm not saying, well, I'm going to work and ignore the other stuff that matters. And so the why, I love the why. From my perspective, mate, I guess the why is, I won't say it's multifaceted because it makes it sound too complex, but it's kind of like the why isn't the only thing that matters. And I guess, not even saying this by the way, but I'll get your thoughts on it, because the why might be, I'm going to work and invest to provide my family. As you said, I think it's a great why. But you're not going to work 100 hours a week and never see the kids so that in 25 years you've got something to give your kids
totally.
When you've died of a heart attack, right? So that combination of I'm going in this direction, but the why isn't just I invest to provide for my family, although it is in your case. But your why, I'm sure, I'll speak for you, you can tell me I'm wrong. Your why is to have a wonderful family, to spend time with them, to help them be the best people they can be, and investing is part of that. I think that's where the point I was trying to make was, yes, work hard. I'm going to keep working hard. I love what I do. I love helping our members. I'm going to keep investing well for myself, for my family. I'm going to spend time and effort doing that. I'm not going to let that crowd out, though, the journey on the way through and the final destination.
Maybe that's the real investing parallel here, though, right, Scott? Like, yes, we can work hard to provide for our family, but I guess investing specifically affords us the ability to make our money work hard for us, so that we can provide for our family.
Yeah.
This is actually something in one of the books, one of the other books that I'm reading at the minute, and I won't share the name because maybe I'll share this in a future video, Scott.
There you
But
go.
it's really talking about, being able to use your money to work hard for you so that you don't have to. The people who are working exceptionally hard, and I don't want to say this by a great generalization or stereotype here, but some people do work extraordinarily hard and extraordinarily long hours. And as you mentioned, that maybe those people will get to their deathbed and realize, hey, I wish I didn't work quite so long. I wish I did spend more time with the family. There's your investing parallel, right? That you can actually use your money to earn money for you in the long run, so that you can do more of what you love and spend more time with the people that you do love.
Love that, mate. Really, really great way to end. Most of this conversation wasn't about investing. You know what? That's kind of appropriate. And look, the Motley Fool, I shared the article I wrote with the team during the week, and I basically just said, hey, I wrote this article. Maybe it's self-indulgent. Maybe it probably still is. But my aim was to say, hey, this is real. This is us. Secondly, yes, money is part of that process, but only part of it, and so that's important. And like as finance guys, Rhino, we're supposed to say, buy this stock, buy that stock, masters of the universe, day trade, multiple screens in front of us, all the stuff you see in the movies, all the stereotypes. I hope the Motley Fool does give people a different perspective. That's why I love this conversation, right? We haven't given a stock tip. We haven't, we've kind of alluded to investing. We've talked about the process or the why or the how, where it fits. Hopefully that's kind of, I'd like to think anyway, what differentiates us a little bit, not because I'm trying to be different or better than anyone else, just because I'm trying to say to people, hey, choose the advisor. You mentioned the trusted guide. I think it's part of it, right? Choose the trusted guide who's speaking your language. If you're watching this now, you're probably not still watching it, and you're saying those guys are all on Kumbaya land. Who cares? I just want to make as much money as I can. Got to say, I'm not supposed to say this. Motley Fool's not for you. If that's all you care about, I mean, we'll try and make money for our members, but we're not. We're not that. They're not those people. We are the people hopefully you can walk beside through the challenges of financial and other parts of life, and hopefully we can make some money for you and help you invest. That's kind of what we're trying to do. It's not an ad. I'm not going to sell anything. I'm just saying that's kind of important. I will say quickly, mate, too, to finish, you mentioned North Star, your service. For viewers who don't know, Ryan named that service deliberately. We specifically, one of the great things recently is we've had a couple of new services. I've had one, Ryan's got a new one, and it was relatively new. It's probably a bit old now. But the question was, hey, here's what I think I can do, Ryan said. Here's what I want to call it. Here's what I want to call it that. I was like, great. This is important to you. If you can, as an investor, as a portfolio manager, as an investment advisor, if you can get behind a thing, a concept, an idea, a style, a structure, and say, this is what I'm doing, I want people to come with us, then we hope that's a bit more authentic than, we need to find a way to, sell AI stocks because everyone's talking about AI right now. It was a genuine, this is what I want to do, this is how I think I can make money for our members. Here's what I want to call it, here's the philosophy, can I do it? We're like, yeah, we'd love you to. That's exactly why North Star was born. So a bit of a lived example, as the cool kids say, of that in some action as well. Mate, any more thoughts to wrap up, or are we pretty much good?
No, I think we're pretty much good, Scott.
Well done. If you have enjoyed this video, if you got this far through, and by the way, if you want to know, I don't know what book it is either. If you want to know what book Ryan's going to talk about next, that's another reason to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I will find out because I'll be talking to him. But if you want to find out what that book is, and it sounds like it might be worthwhile, do those things for me, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thanks for watching. Thanks for indulging us in a slightly different type of conversation, but I hope one that resonates with at least some of the people watching. As I said, if you want to read that article I wrote, link down below in the description. All right, that's it from us. Thanks for watching. Until next time, Fool on.